This is entertainment, everybody. From Hollywood, California, Meltdown Comics, Harmontown is now in session. Let's welcome Spencer Critton into the stage, shall we? And the mayor of Harmontown, Dan Harmon!
There's kind of a shower effect when you... I felt like a good singer, and then the music went, oh, nope, bad singer. Like when you're in your car and you're like, I'm a Bee Gee.
Wait, let's go back about Leeds playing.
Harmonize. Spencer, three-bar harmony.
Put it up in your butt.
This show already dedicated to Glenn Frey.
Glenn Frey?
Yeah, we pre-dedicate that one to Eagles singer and guitar player Glenn Frey.
Glenn Frey died. Why do I always... I guess it's stage fright. Why I always need the... is the microphone too far forward? I thought you guys liked it back a little bit. Is director Chris Peruff back there? Is he...
Good for camera.
It's back. It's good for camera if it's back a little bit. Yeah, we don't care about you guys. We just want to milk your laughs, your presence.
This feels better because this feels like the way it's always been.
Yeah.
I like
colloquially, backstage with the crew, we call you the aphids. It's a reference to those ants that milk. They milk aphids.
I thought we called them the day sleepers.
The day sleepers. Wait, they're the vampires?
No, they're just lazy.
So there was remember we talked in Miami, I think, before the guy got punched in the face, and
God.
we were talking a little bit about, and it's not because of the transgender. I still don't know if you call it a movement. I think that sounds a little weird. It sounds like because it's whatever the transgender thing that's happening. Our newfound awareness of it. It has raised this very interesting question that's just sort of on a fundamental level about bathroom dichotomy. Like what are we doing? What have we been doing? Right. I think a very well-intended thing in the past, in the days of long ago when bathrooms were just maybe like bushes or caves, like maybe there probably was a great progressive thought behind like, oh, ladies go over there and the fellas go over there. But it's not as complicated as just tearing down that wall because men are pigs and sometimes women too. Like there's differences with different things that happen in men's rooms and women's rooms. The big thing that you brought up.
I gotta say, I was wrong about that. I looked it up, way off.
What?
I said on this very stage to millions of unsuspecting people that single-user stalls end up screwing women over, but it turns out single-user stalls are the best way to push out and equalize wait times, and wait times are truly the commodity of the bathroom.
Okay, well,
I'm sorry. Hang on, Dan. I remember I just listened to that Miami episode today. You're saying what you said that time was that women take longer biologically, and that's why that's.
Yes, which is true.
It is true.
To that end, that has only affected non-single-user, genderless bathrooms. That's only affected the current bathroom paradigm.
Well, let me.
You guys, you got to look up potty parity.
Let me cut to my chase because I thought I was kind of a genius getting out of the shower today.
You still are.
Actually, I wasn't a genius. I ripped this off. Somebody on Twitter said this, and they mentioned your name because they said the discussion you guys were having, and they said, do have multiple bathrooms, but make them like long and short in terms of like the time you're going to take.
Right.
Like are you making a number one or a number two kind of, or are you making a number two and or female? Women don't want to be lumped in with shitting men. But I'd say like if you look at it more like lanes on a freeway, okay? There's separation on the freeway that when people don't observe it, shit gets fucked up and you get mad at them because they don't know how to drive right. You know, what if we had like 2 or even 3 bathrooms if the place is the bigger the place, add more lanes. It's like fast lane, passing lane, you know, like I just have to I'm not even going to wash my hands.
Wait, Dan,
I'm going to piss my pants. I just need a place to do it while I check my texts.
Well, we'll get back to you not washing your hands after.
No. I always wash my hands. I was making a joke.
Okay. Are you saying the lane choice is on the door out front of the bathroom?
Yeah, it's like slow and fast. Like, are you going to take a long time? Go in here.
So if you're pooping.
And so I know, and then I was toweling off, and I was like, oh, that won't work, because in a crowded situation, then people that are backed up in the slow lane, they're going to start going into the fast lane. But no, there will be shame involved in that. And just as on the freeway, because you'll go in and and there will be a line forming outside the fast toilet, which shouldn't be happening, and you'll be a piece of shit when you come out.
And the song that will play when you leave there, will be, "Don't poop in the fast lane."
I'd say
show brought to you by Glenn Fry, everybody.
And then there will be arguments. People, like a guy will come out and everyone will start booing him, and he'll go, "I'm a fast shitter." And they said, "No, you're not."
But what is the cutoff point for what is fast and what is slow?
Well, that's. I mean, what
there
is
should
the
be
cutoff?
a big red digital clock right in the door with like a spring-loaded toilet seat.
Freeways. There's a speed limit.
You get ejected out of the.
Yeah.
You get a fine. There's a speed limit.
Right.
What's the cutoff for freeways? When do you get to go in the fast lane? A cop won't answer that question because he can't technically tell you to speed. But the truth is, if you're trying to get to work really fast, you're supposed to go around people. It's called the fast lane. If we all went 55, there wouldn't be a fucking fast lane. Right. It's called the fast lane.
But there's a limit to the speed in that lane, and
so when everyone's driving 35 on the freeway, that's why they built that lane. It's for the days when everyone's just feeling leisurely and driving under the speed limit, and you want to go 55.5 miles an hour, and so that's what this lane is for.
So draw me.
No, it's for going 70, and there could be a 55 of shitting.
I got you.
Yeah. And then there could be a Sammy Hagar of shitting who would be like, "Fuck you! Don't tell me what to do. I like to read a book when I do it. I check my tweets. I get on Facebook too. I can't shit in less than an hour." And there's like a judge, like with her horn rimmed glasses, and she takes them off and starts dancing. She's like, "I like this guy. He fucking shits like a fucking molasses."
Can you draw me up like on a grid D&D Pathfinder map of what you would like? You go to an airport and you have to relieve yourself. You come across how many doors, and what do those doors say? Or have you got that far? They say,
when I was getting out of the shower, it was just like long and short, or like, not number 2 and number 1. But there are other factors, but let's get to those factors. As Spencer says, the big key issue, first of all, is wait time, right?
Yeah,
that's the tyranny of bathrooms. So solve that, and then we can get into, maybe we start to evolve a whole fucking culture about peeing and washing your hands and pooping and lighting matches. Like, oh my God, can you imagine if all of this emphasis we put on consideration, we didn't then undercut by going in the bathroom and wailing all over the walls because we think everyone else is secretly a racist animal, and and we hate them and we don't want to touch the same toilet seat as them, and we're electing a fascist, and we're like oh, don't forget to keep your elbows off the table. We're fucking liars. Like, let's look where we shit. We should make it fucking scientific. You should feel like a clone when you poop.
Don't you feel?
You should feel like a naughty clone, like whose scientists are mad at them and testing them. Like you should fucking it's a sanitary business. How do you think babies feel when they shit? They can't do anything about it. They're like, oh shit, I fucked up. But there should be luxury. There should be talcum. There should be love and squeezing and motorboats.
I don't know.
Razzleberries?
Oh, okay. You can't motorboat a baby. That's the babies ain't got no titties.
Dear Penthouse, I never thought I'd be writing one of these letters. I work at a large Home Depot. I said it, Home Depot. I work at Home Depot. And in walked this woman with a baby that wouldn't quit. I knew I had to motorboat it. All right. So it's time for a new segment. This is called Paragraphs That I... sentences I pull from newspaper articles and read out of context because it's funny. I think Jay Leno does this. Sometimes when you read news, you get to a sentence that makes you realize you're 43 in a world being taken over by children that don't know how to put a thought together. Okay, just a little article about Ben Carson losing his. He's always been a conservative fella, but he was also like a hometown hero to a lot of his own, I don't know, personal kind of like. I can't even remember where he's from and what but he was like, he did good stuff. Like
he's from Nappy Town.
He's from Nappy Town?
Sleepy Town. He always looks like he's going to take a little nap.
Oh, I don't.
He always looks like he just had a turkey sandwich and a glass of warm milk.
Well, here's it. This
he looks like me after if I did 9 yoga classes. That's how alert he looks.
This is out of a Washington Post article about Ben Carson, and the headline did involve his blackness, but I still think this is a weird sentence. Carson has been a black icon since 1987, when he became the first person to successfully separate twins conjoined at the backs of their heads.
While being black.
Black people loved that shit. You know that stereotype of the black lady in the operating room? Like, get those babies disconnected. Ma'am.
Yes. We're going to have to ask you to stop yelling out during your surgery. See, I meant to say Sleepy Town first. I said Nappy Town, and people thought I meant nappy like nappy hair.
Oh, God. I'm proud to say you just put that in my head.
Well,
I'm very proud of myself.
No, half of this millennial crowd knew exactly what I'm saying right now. They heard that.
Who knows with them? If it didn't trip my wires, I mean, that's the thing. This is going to be a theme tonight because we're going to have a fella up here that we've never met before on the show. You and I have met him, but we're going to be talking about the realm of the uncomfortably surfacey and how deep it goes.
We have Dr. Ben Carson here tonight.
And one of the themes that I'd like to talk about is the sometimes damaging like thing. I don't know if I don't know if I'm stealing this from somebody clever that actually coined it. I think it's a really apt. I read it somewhere or heard it somewhere.
A penny saved is a penny earned.
The sort of the modern kind of code of I don't know what to call it. Political correctness like has all these negative connotations, but the sort of like if you could come up with like a golden rule of sort of social etiquette, political cultural etiquette, the rule has become whoever smelt it dealt it. So in other words, like the if you keep your mouth shut, like you stand tactically the highest percentage chance of not being offensive, which is, I think, a very dangerous thing because, as we can see in our culture, you kind of want the idiots talking as loudly as possible. Like it's better than them slinking around in the shadows and then popping up all of a sudden
and becoming the front runner for one of our two political parties.
Yeah, I would like if that guy. Well, he is a fucking like yeah. What should we have done? Given him a reality show? Yeah,
we already did. We gave him 30 reality shows. He was good at all of them.
He's definitely a fucking anomaly. Like he himself is like he should be.
I don't know. Yeah. You know what? I mean, there's a lot of reasons to not like Donald Trump. Here's one of my top 30. He says very too much. It's like I think the Mexicans are very, very, I think they're very good people, but they're very, corrupt, and our economy is very, very good. But I think that people very like me. They very, very, very like me. I was like, are you like a kid trying to air out your 10,000 word book report? By adding more veries and reallys into it.
They had an article that was the 76 campaign promises that we've been able to glean from what he's said so far, and it's very, very terrifying.
It's really terrifying.
We need a very, very big wall, and then I'm going to bomb ISIS, and I'm going to do it by having very, very good generals.
Yes.
And and they're going to make really good bombs, the best ever.
Yeah.
Like he sounds like a 6-year-old.
These bombs are going to be so good, your heads are going to spin. I mean, they'll be blown off. Your heads will be blown off, but as they're flying off of your body, your heads are going to spin on how good these bombs are.
Yeah. And I want to clarify something. I just heard myself say something that might have been offensive to 6-year-olds, because
Dan,
it's true.
It's too late, Dan. You've been coming down on 6-year-olds.
I don't want 6-year-olds like to listen to this podcast. They shouldn't yet. But I really mean this. I like most of them, and he's like a shitty 6-year-old. Like that's what I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
He's like a 6-year-old that like you go to like a family like Christmas, and like he's the one like little cousin that's like you're playing some game and everybody's like, this is so cool, we made up this game, and then he's always the one that's like if you're playing like let's shoot missiles with these G.I. Joe things, he's like, now I'm shooting a missile that blows up every plane in the whole room, no matter where you try to hide.
Infinity.
Yeah.
Infinity.
And I was like, you can't just say that. You just said something, loser. I think there's a conflict of interest. Why are you even moderating this G.I. Joe?
There's a word for that, and it's a word that applies, I think, for almost all of them. With maybe one or two exceptions, it's petulance, and the political discourse is petulant children level of fucking discourse. They're
all 70, and they're all like calling each other old, and they're all talking about 9/11 like it's their friend, and they're all pieces of shit, and they were all born rich, and they can all take a fuck fly. I don't know what I was trying to do in the middle of that sentence. I know the phrase "flying fuck." I was like, you know what, Harmon, you can beat that. They could take a first-class flight fuck on fucking Mint, JetBlue Mint.
JetBlue Mint. I tried. We flew fucking first class JetBlue, which is nice. You sit in these little egg pods, and it seems really groovy. And then I went down into the recline mode, but you can't just rock your seat back. You can't just go like lean back. The whole thing has to go, and your legs come out into this like this whole long bed frame kind of thing. But at one point, it was very clear to me that my legs were not going to get any farther than the wall in front. And now I'm being like Star Wars trash compactor. C-3PO! 3PO, where can he be? Where can he be? And
I'm so distracted.
I had
Jeff,
what happened?
I can't. This is the perfect time to bring out our guests. Like right at the height of you complaining about your legroom. Everybody, please.
That was the worst time. It's the worst time, Dan.
Please.
This is the worst time to do that.
Our first, the current phrase is a little person. He's an actor. We met him in New York. Colin Buckingham is here. Let's bring him out. Awkward. Yeah, there you go. Sweet. That worked perfectly.
What's up, Colin?
How you doing?
We met at the CISO launch thing, right?
Yeah.
How you been?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Great.
Good.
Did you live out here?
No, I live in New York City.
All right.
What do you think about Jeff's legroom complaints?
I mean,
he gets crunched in the first class. A kid.
I mean,
what is this? Fucking. You tried to ambush me with Colin? You piece of shit. This is Dan, so ashamed of him noticing things that are different about other people.
It's just funny.
You really tried to.
In his defense, though, it like when I was doing the reclining thing, it did like I almost slid down.
Yeah,
like,
because
into the.
I'm trying to think like
Yeah.
that had to be designed for this really median like height person, like 5'8" maybe was the perfect sweet spot.
Well, can
for
I
that.
put in a thing?
I did
about-
have a lot of legroom though. Like,
I'm fat, and that's not easy either.
No.
The JetBlue first class, I'll go too. As far as how you're treated as a human being, like so far, it's they're new to first class for terrible reasons because the airlines are cartels. Don't get me started. I'm sorry, the airlines are a cartel. That's the important thing about a cartel. It's not plural. Otherwise, it would be fucking amazing. It would be capitalism. The only thing. It's the reclining thing for me, too, for a different reason. The tray table, it doesn't move forward.
For me, the tray table never comes close enough to me.
They ask you to make a choice.
I mean, I have to reach all the way over there for my food?
Well, no wonder you're so thin.
No, you're making... Yeah, exactly.
Food's always all over me. I have to eat it. Just to stay clean. I'm like a cat. I'm like... I can't. And then I get fat. It's. I don't know if you know how hard it can be to be fat.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Colin, Dan was born 6'2" and fat.
They ask you to make a choice on that airline between sleep mode and and just sitting up and hanging out. And sitting up and hanging out is great.
An electric chair, like upright.
But what you can't do is a setting that is, you know, it's just like I'm sleepy, but I'm playing Minecraft. I'm gonna nod off while I'm digging for some minerals, and I'm gonna wake up, and go whoa, 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 and then I'm like, oh, well placed torches, I'm fine. And then and then the guy next to me is gonna be like, what's he doing? He's like a child. Like, yeah, why don't you watch Avatar a third time? Just because it wins an Oscar
How
doesn't
long
make it
was
for
that
grown-ups.
flight? Were you flying from Dubai? That's a long...
No, I don't mean he watched it a third time on the flight. Yeah, I'm flying. I'm Amelia Earhart. I only fly. All right. Anyways, welcome, Colin. I'm sorry about the way you were brought out. I'm sorry about the way you've been treated since. Do you like the stool? Is it actually? Are you doing a bit by using it, or were you? Because
no, it made it a lot less awkward.
I think Spencer deserves a little Boy Scout badge for that. Oh, you guys haven't met?
How's it going?
Spencer was the only one that thought about that because that's something that's like, oh, it's progress. Just put it out of your mind. Don't think about anything. Don't think about if a person that's a guest of yours that might have a need or something. Spencer thinks about it.
I mean, I didn't think about it at all. Yeah.
So.
We had Steve Silberman on, and he's I mean, he might not be offended by me saying he's a bit rotund, and he had a lot of trouble getting on, and so I was like, I don't know, man. These are some crazy.
These stools are built for like one butt cheek. If you're a larger person, like it was, we needed like a little more commodious accommodation.
All right, let's start our little person questions with the big one. The big one.
Yes.
Who are you voting for?
I want to talk about the phrase "little people." You already gave me a hint that.
Well, as we talked about a little bit, that it changed in like the past 30 years from midget to dwarf to little person, and it's like going in a direction of trying to say like, hey, people that are shorter are still people, but I think when you say someone is a little person, it's different than saying someone has dwarfism or something, you know?
Right, that a person with it, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like you're making that their identity.
Yeah.
You know, you're saying, like, that person is a dwarf. Like, that is all-encompassing of his personality or her personality or that kind of thing, and, like, how they define themselves as.
I always play ball with this stuff because, well, I mean, it's honestly, I'm just a chicken shit socially, so I would never I would never deliberately. I say shit all the time that makes people upset, and it's never like because I'm like, oh, I hope people get really upset. It's just because like I'm like, oh, the only chance I have of making people like me is to like talk. That's it. And it's just like, and I know it's like if you were Indiana Jones and you just like you see the poison dart shooters and you're just and it's like a mile and you're just like fuck it. Like I'm not gonna like I'll get hit with a couple and then like I'll try to find an antidote maybe or I just like maybe there's maybe if I just keep running and it's just like the darts are hitting everybody. And then I get to the front and there's the idol and I have a bag of sand and I'm like I'm not gonna weigh it now. Look, I got fucking darts all over me. The darts aren't supposed to come out and tell. Shut up. What did you design this place? Why didn't you turn it off so I could get the idol? Please rent Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's a great film. God damn it. So when I don't remember where I was or what year it was when the little person thing got floated. Yeah. It was like, and I was like, okay, but it was the same. It was like the phrase African American. I've always said is like it really rubs me like it's not my job to be rubbed the right way or the wrong way. That's the thing, and then I just go like, okay, if that's what we're saying, but I think that's fucking weird because you're saying that you're in that case. It's like the thing that I think is weird about it is that, and I know that what they're doing is they're adding syllables, and I do understand because it's like it's about dehumanization, like any phrase that you can use to like make someone sound like not a someone.
Yeah, like if you say someone who has autism, you say, yeah, he's an autistic. Like that sounds like,
right. All of a sudden, it's offensive.
Then I sound like an asshole if I.
Yeah, but if you say he is autistic, it's like it's a little like especially.
Do you think that is there something new on the horizon that might like that term will evolve?
I've been workshopping a couple that I'd like to run by you. Can I tell them that I got the all clear? No, what a terrible desk piece that would be.
But I mean, for me, like, I think in my ideal world, it would be if someone was describing how I looked, and like to someone, it would be he has dwarfism, or he has achondroplasia, but achondroplasia is a 5-syllable word, and we don't like saying more than 3 usually, so you know, that's not very likely.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need.
But when someone says like little person, does that something that kind of like
no,
like
it doesn't offend me at all. It's just It's just not how I. It's like it doesn't enter my conscience.
It's like that painting of a ship in your bathroom that every time you pee, you're like, well, one of these days.
Yeah.
It's not ruining the house, but why? I'm not even into ships. Like, who bought this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like I was saying before. It's not like it's not that much of a prevalent part of my identity where, you know, it's like not something I go out into the world thinking until it's the term's used, and I'm like, oh, right, yeah. And but I mean, that being said, I don't mean to. I mean, because other people love the term "little person" that have dwarfism. Other people are like, yes, because I mean, this is the whole organization, Little People of America. And they do, you know, amazing things. They have scholarships. Because like when a baby has a disability, sometimes their parents will give it up for adoption, and they like do adoption coordination for people with dwarfism, that kind of thing. So by saying I'm not a fan of that, it's just me saying that, like, as someone who was in middle school when the term was changed from dwarf to little person. And I was just kind of supposed to be like, okay,
right.
That's what I am now.
Right out to the playground with all these Winston Churchills, these these professional diplomats in the making that are real good at handling this kind of thing.
Well, but I mean, it's just I didn't get a choice in like how it's just like that's what I am now. And
did you go to like a public school or private school?
Yeah, I was in a public middle school. I was actually also the only white kid in my middle school, so that was
that's kind of like interesting. You doubled down.
Yeah, and I was the only guy with long curly hair, played the violin, and loved Pokemon and had Pokemon T-shirts. So I was just like,
making fun of you was like a fuck it.
Yeah,
They could have just picked violin. That would have been enough.
there's like a plethora of things they could have.
That's great.
You should have also just put a fake unicorn horn. I just fucked up like 6,000 black kids, like who just would go out into the world and go, I swear though, I swear. I'm not racist, and I don't believe in magic, but God damn it! But I guess that's not a joke you can even propose in the post-internet era. I was I was probably one of, and people think I'm exaggerating when I say this, but I have photos of my 8th grade graduation, like where it's like comically and delightfully evident. I was like one of, like, I would say in a 2,000 kid junior high, I was probably I think like one of 20 white kids. Okay. There was a thing in Milwaukee, which is like NPR just talked about being one of the most segregated cities in the country. There's just like this effort to like they try to desegregate in both directions. So they had a computer specialty program. Yeah. They had 2 Apple IIe's in the basement of an inner city middle school, so that I would come in and learn to program in BASIC, like in the basement of this place, and like this like very naive but well intended like attempt to like something's wrong and we got to like take a proactive step. But what I noticed from that experience is that as I said before, black people are not racist. White people are, because I then went to a high school where it was flipped and it was like we were fucking horrible. And I was like, I never got beat up for being white. I never got like, there was never any jokes. There was never any dehumanization at all. It was never, nobody like wanted to party with me. Yeah. Like I was a nerd, but I did not feel fucking inhibited or anything like that. No. This is a fucking.
Where was your school, Colin? What part of the country?
It was in southern Maryland, like near DC area.
Was it rough? Was it fun for you or bad, or is it?
It wasn't fun. I mean, the aforementioned Pokemon and violin kind of saw to that, but it was. I mean, like when you're saying you didn't get bullied for being white, like I never got really bullied, but I did get like kids would accuse me of like getting favoritism or something,
right?
Because like the teacher was white and I was white, and then there was like I would do my work sometimes, and then like other kids would do their work too, but then like I don't know, it was, but I mean. That's not. I realize that sounds like the most elitist thing to say. Like I was accused of favoritism for.
No,
being
I mean
white.
that's.
Do you think it actually could have, in maybe some even tiny way, white privilege, or no? Like that was just. Like,
I mean,
if the teacher was white,
I didn't
sure.
know enough about it, and my memories of that time are.
Because that would be amazing if that's how strong white privilege runs. That, like,
I mean, it may well be. I don't know.
It does. It does. White people are fucking racist. That's what we're good at. Like we're really good at it. We have a gift for racism. I know it's like I don't. No, I make that joke all the time, but it's like I don't think it's genetic, but I think it's fucking really, really strong, the momentum. Because I have been I've observed these situations in a pre-internet world. So now there's a whole new generation, but at this moment, that this shit that toxic like still has tendrils, even though we're now all talking to each other and sharing stories and everything's very verbose. But like in my growing up, I saw every kind of configuration you could see, and I remember noticing I was like, that guy is being really mean to that guy. Like this person has all the power, and the reverse of it. Like I had in that school I mentioned, like all of my teachers were black, and I felt the reverse thing, and I was like good, like I deserve it. Like, I was like that self-loathing already as a kid. I was just like, I get it, man. I'm surrounded by kids who are there's fucking like this shitty, like they're 12 years old and they're writing like with magic marker, like they're being indoctrinated. We all were into like gang culture. Like I knew how to beatbox by 11 years old, and I knew how to like write the right gang signs and stuff. And it was like this. If you're a teacher and you've bothered to like dedicate your life to like molding minds, and you see that happening on the way out the door of your school, you're gonna get mad, and you're only human too. So when the white kid raises his hand for every question, you're gonna start treating him like a piece of shit. And I was like and being like, why don't you fucking cool it, nerd? And like to hit the showers and see if I can work some magic here. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I've seen enough movies about this shit.
Yeah. No, I just wouldn't raise my hand. Also, I didn't like putting attention on myself to begin with, because I mean, when I from about 6 through, I'd say probably 14, when I started going to high school, it was like, and I didn't realize this because as a kid you're just kind of focused on yourself, but I mean, everyone gets bullied and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it seemed like disproportionate,
right?
Because like
that's no pun intended.
Yeah.
If you guys can't handle that,
you're gonna hate what he's about to say.
The bullying was disproportionate. No, but you said yourself. You said like you always felt like there was favoritism, but accusations or suspicions of favoritism, and you said you didn't actually get bullied. So like
I was bullied not for being white, just like for being short.
Right.
That was, because I mean I look different. People don't like difference when
there had to be jokes behind your back, and behind your back never works. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean they weren't clever.
No.
They were just like pointing out, like literally just like you're short, and it's like yeah. Or it's like your head's large, yeah.
Because my brain is bigger than yours. If your brain was my size, you wouldn't be saying that bullshit.
Now, so then that takes us to your choice to become an actor.
Yeah, stellar.
Hitched your wagon to the star that. No, but it's like
the one career that's based on my looks. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think how much of it is like just a passion for acting, and how much of it is like, man, first of all, I got calluses all over that part of my brain. Like I can take a punch, like, or like.
I mean, part of it's me. I mean, I'm sure ever since a kid, I've always, like, whenever people said you can't do something, I've always wanted to say, well, fuck you, I'm going to. Like, because, I mean, doctors still don't know a lot about dwarfism because it's a relatively recent thing, and it's, I just looked up the figure while I was backstage, and there's, like, maybe even less than what I'd estimate. There's like 35,000 people in the U.S.
I love that you're the one Googling, and then I just bring you out and go, hey, how does it feel to be small? Google it, motherfucker.
Wait, Colin, you said there's less than 35,000 people with dwarfism in the U.S.?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you said 100,000.
Yeah, that was a very much.
Less than, I mean, even that 100,000 seems very low. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's just not that prevalent of a thing. It's
really,
it's just not that. Because it's one in every around 40,000 births.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there any like looking back through history of like has it been the same throughout history? Has it gone up and down, or do we even know that?
Well, I mean, historically, I mean, babies were kind of killed a lot when they had differences that were kind of like that. So, and also record keeping wasn't.
That'd be hard.
But actually, like in some cultures, like I'm gonna be wrong, so I'm not even gonna attempt to say which one it was. But there's like paintings and stuff where you see people with dwarfism in very highly respected positions, like because like you're saying with the whole brain thing, like they were thought to be more intelligent and that kind of thing in some cultures. But in Spartan stuff, they would kill them.
Yeah, that people that were left-handed were killed too.
Yeah,
it didn't take a whole lot.
No. They're just like, look, are we a society or are we an emotion workshop?
Or do we love freckles?
This guy needs special scissors. I say, cheaper to feed the dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really fascinating thing about humanity too, is that we live in this like first world empire where I think among the many assumptions that we don't know we're making, is that morality, like particularly interhuman morality, it's not like genetic. It's not born into you. That doesn't make it not valuable. Like we have this like misconception that like it's like the really uncomfortable truth is that human beings are designed to survive wherever you might happen to drop them. And that is so. If you are living in a society that is hateful, you will not use the word hateful to describe the thing that's hateful. You'll use the word normal to describe the word hateful. If you're a Spartan, which is the example I always use, because they had this like really historically documented, incredibly specific society where you got killed apparently for being left-handed. It's like the kids growing up in that world, they weren't like, man, this is fucked up. Like I'm sure some of them were, and then they got killed because that's worse than being left-handed. They were, but they weren't like people didn't go to bed and like sweat and like have acid reflux and go to a therapist and go, I can't figure it out. And they're like, well, you're a Spartan and you're supposed to be living in Wisconsin in 2016, where everything's very enlightened. Oh, thanks, Doc. I'll move there right away. The therapist was a Spartan and said, you should have your head cut off, and my job shouldn't exist because this is Sparta. We need to acknowledge that, not because we need to hate ourselves more. We need to be proud of the fact that we're able to adapt to anything, but we need to, I think we need to, like that, the illusion that we have some inborn sense of right and wrong is dangerous as the other thing that is, it's this illusion that if you say the right combination of words, you can make everything better. And that whoever smelt it dealt it rule. Because now, and then we're talking. I'm a writer and a producer talking to an actor, and so like you were just telling me in the green room, like you were like. Obviously, like you said, you just went out for your first part that was like that had nothing to do with your stature.
Well, not my first, but like it's been, and part of that's due to my agent being one of, she's cool with sending me out for anything that young 20s ish.
The casting director.
Yeah. Well,
or your agent.
My agent is. But I've been getting called in a few more times recently for stuff that's not exclusively for a little person or that kind of thing, and.
Because when you see a breakdown, like as an actor, it'll say all ethnicities, all shapes and sizes, and they don't really. I mean,
no, they don't mean
they don't
that.
fucking mean that because the writer wrote it and said she's tall, she's nerdy, hot.
Right.
And like
Hot doesn't know it.
Submit all ethnicities. Like you said blonde 5 times in that description.
Right.
Like I mean, they're saying that the corporation has to say that, and I think there. I was about to ask the same question that Dan just asked you. Are you seeing any opening up of that gate with them actually meaning such things when they say that?
Well, I think the fact that I'm even getting in the room now speaks to something, because with the age of technology and stuff, you can look at someone's entire thing without ever meeting them.
Right.
And I don't pretend to know what goes on in casting offices. I've never been in on that side, but I feel like once you look at someone's reel and you're like, all right, they're very clearly not what we're looking for, it helps you narrow down.
But hopefully, now it can come down to essentially what the character needs to be, as opposed to what they thought the silhouette of that person needed to be.
And I feel like as more young, well, not young writers, but like writers that are more open-minded and that kind of thing become in positions of power where they can, like create shows and that kind of thing.
By the way, it'll have to be young writers because, ironically, if you're over 50, you're not allowed to be a writer. Not like on a staff. Like I've run up against that where it's like there was a class action lawsuit about ageism in writing rooms. I just thought I just wanted to dip that in because the layers of irony that like
I didn't know that.
It will be a young writer. It won't be an old writer because old writers are sitting at home going fuck society. They fucking. Tell me, I know why you didn't hire me.
Yeah.
It will start with writers, and I know this firsthand, and it's also like important for me to say this is a 180-degree point of view, 180-degree from when I was your age. Yeah. When I was your age, I was unemployed. I wanted to be the best writer in the world. I wanted to save the universe with my words, and I was also, without realizing it, I was just like the voice of like. Holding things back because I would get my Writers Guild magazine, which was being printed with the money that I didn't have. And it was like I broke my tooth last month, but because I didn't do a rewrite on a Beetlejuice cartoon this month, I can't get it fixed. And the money's going to like this glossy magazine, and I open my mailbox and there's always some smiling, ugly face looking at me that's a successful writer. I was like, who's this peanut-headed fucking... Oh, it's Joss Whedon. Okay. Well, what'd he do that's so great? I created Buffy. Okay. Well, what else, though? All right, everything. All right, fine. Then I won't read your magazine. Why? We're called writers. Why are you making us read shit? But then when I would look through that magazine,
Writers hate reading.
One of the bookmarks I have in my head of the 180-degree Harmon as politically as a writer is literally throwing one of those WGA magazines across the room because I had just looked at this sidebar item that was like called a report card about diversity in writers' rooms or something like that. And I saw the words and I didn't even see the content. I just threw it. And I was doing it. People think that the white people that are doing it because they're racist. They're doing it because it's derived from privilege, but it's a combination of that and like fucking like underdog syndrome. Everybody's an underdog. So like I was like, I'm the best writer in this fucking city, and the union that represents me is spending money and attention on a competition between who can hire more people that have different shaped hats than who is the best writer. And I when I would say that, I would imagine a chorus of super talented black writers behind me going, "Fucking go, man!" Because I don't want any fucking handouts, and I want to be a good writer. I want to be known for my writing too. I was diluted. The difference is I had to become a showrunner. I had to be in charge of hiring. I had to have a stack of scripts on my desk and be like, oh, Harvard, Yale, Harvard, Yale, Harvard, Yale, and be like, oh, there's a systemic thing and this cycle needs to be broken at any point along the chain, blah, blah, blah. So like the new thing now, the bleeding edge of this is it's like I just finished a script with Chris McKenna, who like effectively ran Community 5 and 6 with me and was like the reason why Community is good. Because we're old white men who are like in the twilight of our efficacy and just want to write another good one, you know, and like do everything right from square one. We're like writing this script together and we're having all these conversations going like, how do you okay, is it possible to write a gender neutral character? So far, it turns out the answer is no. It's possible to write a transgender character. It's not possible to leave it up to the casting director without the script reading like toothpick instructions. Pronouns are fucking endemic to moving the action. There's a way I'll try to get more talented, but ultimately what I ended up doing is going, this character, when introducing the character, this character can be any gender. We're gonna call him a he to fucking get the script finished. But it's a gender neutral character. What's important is their age. Sometimes what's important is their age. It's important that they're in their 20s because of the dynamic that they'll have with the person in their 40s, depending on the situation. We talked the entire time. I mean, I have a point to all of this. We talked the entire time as these noble-minded fucking middle-aged white writers were going like, how do you accomplish this? What do you do? And the thing that we kept saying, having this weird debate about was okay, there's this buffoon in the script. It's the Michael Scott figure. It's he's the guy that you love to feel bad for / hate. He's got his foot in his mouth. You know, we would have endless conversations. Can that? We know that can be a woman if the actor is the right actor. Ultimately, though, as a comedian, as a comedic writer who worships at this altar that is so much higher, is there a craft that you're betraying, even by 5%, in the interest of progress or anything? Should that buffoon is it an extra 5% funnier if he's a straight white male? Does it go down 5% for the sake of progress if your buffoon, for instance, is a woman? And the answer, we very happily never came up with an answer. Yeah. So we just were okay, let's just keep thinking of this guy we work with and using him as in our heads, and let's just make sure if we start to get a pickup, we gotta fight this battle in casting. We gotta say, yeah, get Kristen Wiig in here and see if she can do this Michael Scott character. Yeah, you wish, asshole. No, I wasn't. I make no eye contact and said you wish, asshole to myself. You thought there was an asshole. Yeah. So here's the last part of my story that's a cautionary tale for the future, because it's up to writers, and it's fucking like I was on the phone because we turned in the script and they're like, this is awesome, let's get on the phone and talk about what actors to give this to, and I'm like, holy shit, this has never happened. Like, oh my god, I can't believe we're talking about this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this white guy and this white guy and this white guy and this white guy, and I didn't even. It was like 40 minutes into the conference call, and I was like looking at headshots, and I was like, this is a blizzard of talent, a very talented blizzard. I am. My cup runneth over with ruds and then I had to I'm not telling this story because I'm any kind of hero in it. I'm telling the story as a because I was so I fucking forgot until halfway through the conversation, and then I was like, oh yeah, wait. And then I was like, what, you guys know, right? Like, have we ever had this conversation? Like, is this something that's unspoken? Casting directors have to run their thing like a Target. They have to know where the big shirts are, and the small shirts, and the dark shirts, and the checkered shirts. They have to. If they don't know that, they're part of their job as a casting director, not the whole job. They're doing it wrong. They have to be like a wholesaler of corporeal humanity. Oh, you want a little person? I know a fucking great actor who is a little person. You want the word little person to change? It's out of my jurisdiction. But the other part of their job is like curating talent and going like, no, I'm not going to send you a little person who's also a hack and all this shit. And also, hopefully, going like, look, you said this character, it can be anything. I'm sending you the most the best actors I have, my favorites. That's what good casting directors do. They already do that. It starts the important thing. It starts with the writer as much as the writer has to be like, if you're in TV, they have to be like, you're gonna think of like fucking white people from your neighborhood if you don't like. But Dan, slow the switch.
If I'm interrupting you, do you want to keep going?
You're interrupting me, and you're a hero for it. It's like the Blue Wire.
But for instance, the Abed character. You knew a guy named Abed. Our friend, the real Abed, who is he? Was he Iraqi, Iranian? What is Abed?
He's Arabic. He's half Arabic, half like Swedish or something.
Yeah, and he is on some part of the spectrum and whatever. And you wrote this interesting character, and you said like, I'm basing it on this person.
I felt like it was important, the regionality. Yeah, but Danny Pudi came in, who's Indian, half Indian, half Polish.
But that's maybe possibly a step in a direction. You said like because your circle of friends stopped being. White dudes from Milwaukee and then white dudes from Los Angeles, whatever. Like you started to have a bigger group of friends. You meet Colin, you meet more women, you meet people that like you can start writing as a writer and say, I'm writing this around an actual person that you should meet, and then not that it needs to even be that person at the end of the day when they cast it and when they make the show, but you start like focusing in like on saying like. The reason why we're doing this is not randomly trying to be diverse. We're writing this because I hung out at a bar with Colin, and the character doesn't have to be have dwarfism. I just think it's way funnier, like because I've met him and I talked to him, and there's an essential quality here.
Well, this is a lazy answer, but it's like when it's if what you're doing is really specific, as in that example, then go with God and do that. Use that technique. I wrote this for my small friend Colin. I had a conversation with him, and I have this vision of this character, even though there's no mention of it in the script. Like it's important. And blah blah blah. Definitely go ahead, do that. I'm talking about the other side of it is when you don't have those specific thoughts and you are picturing either yourself or Steve Carell. You aren't doing anything wrong. You're just not doing a thing that if writers don't do it, like especially writer producers,
you're doing what's very comfortable for you. You're trying to get the script sold.
You should think of Steve Carell while you write it, but you should ask yourself. You should go through your script and go, how many of these jokes are based on him? here it is. Like they need an extra bounce card, but then the complexion of his face like reflects the sun. Like there is nothing. There's no bits like that. Like it doesn't matter what it doesn't. But you should picture Steve Carell because you're picturing like this funny person or the person with all these quirks. But then you have to say like to the casting director, like and the network and the studio, you have to go like we gotta exercise a muscle that's like not atrophied, whatever the word is when it's like not even used. We have to start doing crunches with this muscle where we make sure that we're that it's like a cattle call and all the cows like are coming in.
Colin, how often, like how many times, like or percentage wise, when you go in for casting, is it specific to who you are and what you look like, or how often is it not? Like, do you feel like it's honestly like they're open for seeing you, like because they're really, you know?
It's like probably 70%. It's usually because of my size, 30-ish.
Well, I'm surprised it's actually 70-30. Like I would have thought worse than that, but that's
I mean, my type's not called for that much, so I mean, it's not like it would be skewed if like that type was called for a lot more.
Do you feel some sort of like movement in that direction? Like, do you feel like it's like slowly shifting into a more even?
Yeah, I think it's for everyone. I mean, honestly, like you know, for people of different ethnicities, for different genders, for you know, different like gender identities.
If we had an actor up here that was black and had dwarfism, what would he be like? Yeah, you fucking think you have it bad.
I mean, yeah, probably. Honestly,
I've never that whole mediocre superpowers. The question we're always asking ourselves, man, if I could conjure a.
And we were talking about this a little bit before. I don't know if you remember, but like how a friend of mine once told me that I am both privileged and not privileged at the same time. Which, to be fair, like when I'm walking around the streets in New York, cops like smile.
Right.
They nod and like they say hi. And
what about Chicago?
I've never been to Chicago.
Yeah, don't go there. Don't go there.
I've never not wanted a little person, black person to be around me, but I've never wanted it more than right now because I'm so fat. I want to know, like, if you would say, like, oh yeah, cops. Like, I have no idea. Like,
I wouldn't know, and I'm not about to speculate.
Yeah.
So. I mean, it's just because I'm not in a position to say. Because I mean, I would never, you know, like
because it could go either way.
Yeah,
it's like the cops are smiling at you because they're just like, God, finally a stress-free encounter just for.
It's like they don't think I'm capable or would do anything
until
like,
the first day. You know, ISIS will, you know, a little terrorist will.
I think. You know, was there a story? I think I remember seeing a storyline about that.
Is it ISIS that you're offended for? I just want to check in with you guys.
I mean, I would be offended if ISIS was trying to capitalize on, like, being on diversity. Yeah. Like they thought that was going to make them more likable. And then ISIS eventually would have more diversity than Paramount.
That would be fucking amazing.
Did you guys see who crashed that bus into that fucking school? There was like little.
It was a transgender.
Had it covered.
If ISIS's only goal was to win,
to blow our minds,
fucking hit us where not our wallets, because you know we'll bail out corporations if they go bankrupt. Like, you can destroy as much shit as you want, but hit us where we're fucking thinking we're actually proud of ourselves. Like have a bunch of beautiful post-feminist naked women like just blow some shit up and be like, yeah, I accept my sexuality, I have agency, and I love ISIS. This is my friend, the African American. Sorry, what? African Syrian little person. He fucking loves ISIS too.
Colin, for me, I'm going to answer the question I'm going to ask you first because I've always wanted to be, as an actor, I want to be in a Western. I want to be on a horse. I want to be riding fast on a horse and shooting a Remington, and I want to be like in a Western. I love Westerns. What if you could be any role? Like, do you have like any character or style or genre that you'd like to be in?
Honestly, I think that what would make the strongest. I mean, like, what I would want to do is probably, like, not something that just, a role that honestly just demonstrates an aspect of my humanity.
No, I mean, yeah,
It's,
it could be
probably
anything in the world.
it's probably something comedic, but like, you know, in the way that kind of Broad City's doing, where it's turning the, you know, how men treat women on its head and that kind of thing, and it's like pointing out how stupid the comments that men make towards women are, and by like, and there's this you know, the Cyrano de Bergerac, how someone calls him Big Nose, and then he comes up with all these more clever things that they should say.
Right.
And it would ideally be something like that, where it's like turning. And one of my friends actually, like, because he's going through something similar, because he was like, he's trying to succeed as an actor, and he's black, and he makes height jokes towards me, and I make black jokes towards him. And
we have to get DeMorge out here. We got to get DeMorge out here.
Dan just had a partial orgasm here.
It's dehumanization palooza.
Yeah.
This is DeMorge's favorite thing. He'll be brought out as a representative of his race. He loves that.
Yeah. He'll make. We came with, you know, some jokes that like other people can make, and if it's okay, I'd like to, you know, share a couple of those. You know, like if someone, like he was saying, someone could say, "Grow up," and that one went over your head and that kind of thing. But it's just like more clever turns of phrases like that are just not used by, because it's just easy to make the obvious jokes and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but you can talk shit with your friends, and so like if you and I get like we're closer friends, like you could like diss me on what, like anything, any flaw in my personality or anything I did that night. It's fun to fire off at each other,
and
because there's equality in fun joking, you know, trash talk. It's great.
Yeah, well, once you're familiar, once you get bored with shit, that's what progress is. Basically, it's like,
speaking of getting bored with shit, let's bring out DeMorge Brown.
He's got those green pants. Shake all the hands.
Yeah, I know. That was a classy move. Like, DeMorge is no one shakes Spencer's hand.
That's true.
I shake everybody's hand as they enter, except for yours. You just walk right on.
Sometimes I want to be one of those guys that when he comes up, I shake the hands of the front row. I think maybe Bon Jovi did that. I don't know. I'm a cowboy. Hi, how are you? On the steel horse I ride. Hey, Toby from Michigan. I'm wanted. Stephanie. Dead or alive.
That's a great showbiz trick, though, and politicians use it all the time, and it's taken from showbiz, is the fake pointing to people that you see in the crowd. Like you're at Madison Square Garden, and there's 9,000 spotlights on you. You can't see shit. You're like... Because Springsteen's always like, oh, he's giving you that. And there's 8 guys named Tony up on the fucking mezzanine. And like, oh, you fucking looked right at me.
I never really thought that was fake. Because
you can't see anything.
When I see people do that, I always think, oh, that's unprofessional.
Is this too personal?
But I just realized, because it's like I'm thinking that like out of some like. Yeah. You know, I'm not going to diagnose myself, but there may be something wrong.
Dan, just do a half walk up on stage and just point. You can only see the first 5 rows.
I can see. You can. I see Dave Klein.
Yeah, but Dave Klein's within that lighting.
Dave Klein has his own light.
Artisanal lights.
Dave Klein is lit by his mother's cesarean. There's light pouring out of the sacrifice she didn't make.
Sure. I think Dave Klein just beams. His beard emanates its own sort of eminence.
He's like one of those plates at your grandma's house that has Jesus on it. It's just like he's lit by the anxiety you have for being an atheist at 11 years old.
How you doing, DeMorge? What's new in the DeMorge Brown world?
Nothing, man. It's February. I've spent a year working on other people's projects, so I'm sort of gearing up to start making more of those weird shorts. I make a lot of weird, absurdist shorts under the name Black Empowerment Network. Hey, So it's time to make more of those, and I think probably in February I'll shoot like 3 of them. I think 3
I
insane
see a lot
ones.
of awesomely cinematic photos of you, like looking like you're on some sort of 35 millimeter set somewhere, but it's just
me working on other people's stuff. Yeah. Psychotic park ranger.
I was like, oh shit, is he in The Revenant? That's great. That's a beautiful shot.
Have we ever mentioned Gumball on this show? Like on the podcast? I don't know.
Not to me at least.
If you don't know it, is it all Channel 101?
Yeah.
It's all Channel 101.
Yeah. For those of you who do not know, here or listening, go watch all of Gumball and watch how good Demorge is. It's really, really.
I mean, it's a short series that was done. I think there was 11 episodes, although the last one's 25 minutes long or something. But that was Kyle Ryder who and also Matt Freund. And the 3 of us together just sort of saying, what could we do that's absolutely insane? And
it's
involves all the
really
things
good character-driven.
Yeah, it starts off as like Bronson meets Arsenal meets
I think it was an excuse for you to wear your Arsenal gear on camera, right?
I would pitch that to Kyle for everyone that we would shoot every month. Maybe he's got this jacket on.
But also I kind of felt like...
Sometimes he'd say yes, sometimes he'd say no.
Like folding back on a question to Colin, because it also felt like in that Gumball series, like that you guys collectively, I always imagined we're talking about that you liked movies like Sexy Beast, or like that you liked British indie movies, and that it was beyond like that we had grown beyond, oh, let's make a space movie because space movies are silly and we'll make our own space movie and it'll be silly. It was like Channel 101 had evolved into like, let's actually do what we really, really, really want. We like the flavor of like this actual like quality cinema that's being imported. No,
I had made. Kyle called me one day. When Drive came out. Everybody was going crazy about Refn, and I was like, these people haven't seen Valhalla Rising, they haven't seen Bronson, they haven't seen Pusher, but everybody was saying that. That Drive was like the first movie that he'd made, and there were all these Drive parodies coming out. And Kyle called me and he's like, "I want to make something. I want to make it with you, but I don't want it to be sort of referencing other things that other people have seen. I really don't want it to reference anything. We could start at a certain point and go from there. Have you seen Bronson?" And at that time, I was watching Bronson on YouTube with Swedish subtitles. It was in English, but it had Swedish subtitles. And I was like, "Yeah, idiot, I've seen it." And he goes, "What if we start there?" And then we just started with this thing where I was like, what about the idea of a guy who sees Bronson and says, "That's my fucking life"? But that guy's life, whereas the actual Charlie Bronson, where his actual life is worth a 2-hour movie, what if this guy's life is worth a 5-minute short? And he goes, "What would you name that guy?" And I go, "It would have to be something really mundane, but also, have some pop to it." And the next day I just woke up out of the sleep and I said, what if his name was Brian Gumble? He's just a guy who's named Brian Gumble, and we started from there. So I shaved my head for it and grew a circus strongman mustache, and then I said he has to love Arsenal, and Kyle was like, "Yeah, whatever, man."
Arsenal's an English soccer team. Everybody,
it is the English soccer team. It is the English soccer.
Is it number 1 right now or number 2? No, Leicester's on top.
They're 3 now.
Leicester's on top, mate.
Fuck.
Leicester's on fucking number 1. Top the table, you can't.
So, Colin,
I'm just pretending I know what I'm talking about.
Colin, just as an actor, then, because your first answer was just like, oh, you let him do that scene from Roxanne where Steve Martin gets all the fucking big nose jokes out before the bullies do. But like, is there like just as an actor, like what's the like not the action figure, but what's the scene like what do you like? I'll start and like because he said you want to be a cowboy shooting a thing. Like I want to be the Zuckerberg, Howard Hughes, like I want to be the Steve Jobs, like the guy in the scene. That's
you want to be a rich white guy.
I look, it's what I'm good at. No, I want to be the guy that people would love to fucking murder and they can't, and like that lives by his merit and that is misunderstood, misjudged. Like I want to do those monologues that are written by Aaron Sorkin types who are like where you're just fucking like phrasing exactly like what something that is not likable necessarily, but is just like the verbal equivalent of the Hulk bending a car in half and shoving it up his own ass and then pulling it out of his mouth the size of a ping pong ball and throwing it away. Which is like in the Social Network is that moment when Zuckerberg, like whatever that monologue is, when he goes like, everyone in this room has one thing. Everyone in this room that wants to say they invented Facebook has one thing in common. They didn't invent Facebook. I love that Sorkin-y shit. So it's like in terms of like the tone of the scene, like is there like a fantasy of like just as an actor, like what the kind of like monologue, like what point of view the monologue might come from that you feel like you could like nail?
I think something that, I think it would be along the lines of Kevin Spacey / Bryan Cranston from House of Cards and Breaking Bad, respectively, when they just say have a monologue where it's just so clear that they're such a dangerous person, but they're about to go and make the people around them trust them.
Right.
And because there's still, I think something about.
I can see us being a very good bad guy. Like a strangely horrifying bad guy in a film.
Yeah, but not like in like a Willow way.
Bad guys come in all sizes.
No. I'm just talking about like eye contact, like the fact that the best bad guys aren't the ones that look like the most the most physically violent.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have like a sublimated like an internal thing.
Well, who's the guy in The Wire? Like the guy, like there's so many like thugs in The Wire that you're terrified of in different ways. No, it's you fall in love with him because like he fits in a fucking like ultimately like a spot in your tackle box.
Snoop.
No, it's what's his name? I can't remember his name. The guy who wins. I don't want to spoil The Wire. The guy who's the last man standing. Marlowe.
Oh yeah.
He when you meet him, he's like he never raises his voice. I don't think in the entire run of the show. He's like it's fucking terrifying because he's sending people out to kill people and I mean, would you? But you said you used two examples. Used Kevin Spacey in House of Cards and what's his fucking Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston. These are both people who need a chance. You said, and so then they're gonna go out and prove.
They're
right.
gonna go.
You don't just want to like kick ass and like intimidate.
Because that would be
bullying.
I feel like that would be too obviously trying to say, "Hey, I can be a badass."
Oh, hey, look, it's 180 degrees.
Yeah,
like look how tough he is.
You want that monologue moment, though.
Yeah, I want that monologue moment where it's like
Kevin Spacey in what's that Mammoth movie? James Foley made a Mammoth play into a movie. Glengarry Glen Ross.
Oh yeah.
Where he starts off as this guy everybody hates.
That's your path to remembering Glengarry Glen Ross.
For me,
it's like if you said like Gary Kurtz produced this little ditty. That's Star Wars. It was something. It was based on a novella. Something Death Star. Wicked comes.
That's my level, man. That's my level.
You're too fucking educated.
So for me, when I watched Alec Baldwin in Malice, when he gives do I have a God complex? I am God. I'm a doctor. Like that. It's like
it's stillness, right?
That's a great bad guy because he's the hero of his own movie, and also he's pretending to be a bad guy.
I like that one. However, so here's Harmon hairs to split. In that movie, Malice is fucking great. Like rent Malice and check it out. Nicole Kidman, Alec Baldwin, Bill Pullman.
Yeah.
Did I just mix up their last names?
You got it right.
Okay. No, it's really great as far as just like popcorn eat like thriller, like twisty thriller. It's the Bill Pullman. It's not so much a monologue, but it's later the opposite side of the story circle from that, where Bill Pullman is talking to Nicole Kidman, and she says. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but she says, "What do you want?" That's the cue for his monologue, and the end of his monologue is like, "I want half. What the fuck do you think I want?" But it's because it's the underdog thing, and I do think like
and he's privileged cast
Alec
because
Baldwin was a doctor to begin with, so he's like, "I'm special," and he's privileged. Like as I mentioned earlier, I think like the biggest problem, the thing that keeps hatred moving culturally in this country is the fact that Donald Trump right now somewhere is tucking his little shitty head into a pillow going like, today's chalk one up for the little guy. And he's like writing a telegram home to his mom, going, "Mom, I finally got what I deserve."
I would fundamentally disagree with that.
No,
I don't think he has that gene in his fucking DNA.
I think you're wrong. I truly think you're wrong. I don't think people behave that way. I think some people behave that way. Like but I don't see it in him. I think that it's actually more dangerous when like people that have all the power. They I can attest to it. It's like it's everybody that's 50 feels 25, and everybody with all the fucking power feels like an underdog. That is like at the root of every argument you see flare up in every comment section under every unrelated YouTube video. It's just like some guy holding a sparkler and the N-word is not far. The guy is not black. The sparkler is not spelling the thing. It's like. The politics like fucking explode underneath this thing, and it's like, oh, these libtards are going to do this, the right thing. It's like, what the fuck is going on? The guy's waving a sparkler in a circle for 15 seconds.
Yeah, but Dan, that guy was totes gay.
The reason that pot keeps stirring is because of this like concept that it's capitalism's greatest success is that you're never. Spielberg is going to bed somewhere tonight, going like, man, if I could just have creative control for real, or he wouldn't do the shit he's been doing.
You think even after all this time,
if he was capable of going to bed one night and going like, I did it, the next thing that would happen would be 60 of the greatest movies shot on the shittiest camcorder in the world. They'd be fucking great. No, but I think he's going to bed every night going, fucking Sony, god damn it, next time, I'm going to get a fiber optic cable to my place in the Hamptons, and I'm going to make the dinosaurs myself. And I want merchandising, because then I can funnel that into the special effects budget, and the line producer's not going to fuck me this time. And his wife is going like, sweetie, you're a genius. I said, yeah, that's what everyone says. Tell that to 20th. Tell that to fucking 20th.
I want this movie to be made with Colin playing you during this scene.
Colin playing me?
Yeah.
Colin's playing me writing it, or Colin's playing Spielberg?
He's the actor playing you. He's portraying this this monologue.
Colin can play Spielberg. I'll play your wife. I'll just be going like, sweetie, stop. Come to bed.
Come to bed. Spencer, what monologue, what scene, what genre, what's your fantasy, like, if you could portray or anything?
Yeah, I'm a real actor at heart. No, I don't know.
When you watch a film, do you get like what kind of scenes do you?
I like the guy who like reveals that he's the one like touching all the pieces on the chessboard. You know, he's like, there's all these people, and I was pulling the strings forever. Like one of those monologues where you instantly reveal.
Give us what's a for instance in film?
Oh wait,
I don't watch.
I've got a good one. You've probably never seen the Peter Johnson adapted Glengarry Glen Ross. Have you seen Glengarry Glen Ross?
No.
There's a everybody gets a monologue in that movie, but I feel like he would want the Kevin Spacey one.
The when he takes Jack Lemmon down, right?
Like,
will you go to lunch? 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 And then they cut to Lemon, and Lemon's just got this like cookie in his hand. He's like,
oh wait, no, are we talking about two different moments?
You're talking about copies for closers.
The moment when Kevin Spacey turns out to be the
serious badass, because that one just happens to Lemon in private, and you realize, oh, this guy's a motherfucker.
That's what I'm talking about.
And then it gets
because he's saying like he likes to be the guy that you underestimated that turns out to have all the yeah, which is a cousin of mine, but like.
Second cousin.
But the deception removes me. And then the Alec Baldwin I'm removed from because he was a doctor. Like the medical association already accepted him. I want to be a fucking raving. I want to be John the Baptist. Fuck it, Jesus Christ. No, wait, he didn't get angry enough. John the Baptist.
Jesus got angry.
In a special what if version of the story where he cuts everyone else's head off.
You'd be a good, like, if you had to remake like the film, the Ten Commandments is hilarious because you have every great overactor in one movie. But like Harmon, you'd be good as Pharaoh, like a Yul Brynner. Because you wouldn't be like, so let it be written, so shall it be done. You were like, God damn it! Like, fucking do what I told you to do. Like, you'd be more... You feel like God's giving you notes. You're like, how many eagle-faced people do I have to worship for locusts not to eat my crops?
Yeah.
I think you'd be a good pharaoh.
Yeah, but he was wrong.
Was he? Not as far as he was concerned.
Yeah, but... I mean...
Oh, you know, how about
Pontius Pilate?
How about like Mark Antony? Like Mark Antony.
I don't know enough about him.
He was a big, sexy, macho guy who fucked Cleopatra.
I haven't seen Wizard of Oz.
You haven't seen or Cleopatra or read anything about Cleopatra?
Oh, is that what he's in? Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the classics. I've seen 13 things on the AFI 100, and it's because the AFI needed to round it up to 100. So they put like Die Hard in there. They're like, this is only 73 things.
I've never seen American Graffiti, and people get on my ass about that. But I never get up in the morning and go, you know what today I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking watch that movie about cars.
Yeah. Just watch Dazed and Confused and add Bleach.
Like to the film process?
It's got to the fucking flavor. It's like every generation makes a movie about everybody's hanging out all night. This is what it was like. I'll do one.
It was called the Ten Commandments.
The original one was like, hey, listen, you guys, I got to go up to Mount Sinai. I just got the draft card. Come on, Moses, hang out with Aaron. We're going to worship a calf. Come on, you losers. I'm going to smoke reefer with Yahweh.
Oh, everybody, this is Wolfman Jack coming at you. Ancient Judea, those Jews are wandering the desert trying to make their own nation. Good luck to you out there.
Come on.
Here's Buddy Holly.
Come on. Let's go space trucking. That's fine.
It's just an hanging out all night. What was that? It was okay. American Graffiti, Dazed and Confused. I'm acting like this is a genre. There was a thing with Robert Wool in it called Hollywood Nights. That was that was in the 80s. That was,
I think you also
Drescher,
have what's
Fran
Drescher in that too?
I
think it's like her first movie.
Yeah. Like I want to watch that again. Like Robert Wool, who these kids don't even know as Arliss, let alone Knox from Batman. But like Robert Wool as the sexy senior in high school.
Well, the 80s you had Footloose. That's a hanging out all night movie.
No. You don't get it. No, Footloose takes place over weeks, and there's caucuses.
Oh, you're saying it has to be one night, a 24-hour
it's like
affair?
That's what Graffiti, Dazed and Confused is. It's like oh, we're gonna go. Superbad is the right. Newest one. It's like it's different when it's a comedy and not like a indie movie kind of like feel this time and place thing.
I see.
I think that directors, writers turn 40 and then they go, man, when I was 11, and then they write those movies, and then you're like, this is cool, because you're 30, and you're like, yay, and then you go into a back room and there's just heads on the wall, living heads,
heads,
and the neighbors keep complaining about the smell.
How are the heads being sustained if they're just heads?
They're not being sustained. What?
You said they're living heads.
No, I said I meant. I'm a serial killer. To me, they're living.
Because
they talk to me. They tell me who to kill next.
Everybody, the exits are two to the rear. It's one behind.
No, listen. The more heads I add to the wall, the more of an opinion I get, the less likely it is I'll kill again.
The less likely Sony gives you notes on your dinosaurs.
That would be an amazing serial killer gimmick, like as a guy who's obsessed with like populism, egalitarianism, or something. And so he's like, the cops can't catch him because he doesn't have a profile. Like he's only killing like white women with red hair. He's like trying to gather a sea of opinion. Because in his mind, instead of the dog telling him to kill people, which just has the shelf life because dogs whatever, and also you're crazy and you're gonna get caught.
Dogs just keep saying kill the milkman.
The guy thinks that if he puts enough heads on his wall, the voice will tell him like okay, now you can stop killing. And so he keeps killing forever. and the cops can't catch him because all serial killer tracking is based on like these profiles, and it's like the guy is just like, I'll use a gun, a hacksaw, I don't care.
Right.
And so he's just been doing it for 40 years.
And
maybe he has a really highly listened to podcast. Maybe it's a true story.
Yes. And maybe
there's scenes where he confesses it in full view. Maybe he's always hinting at it, his love of mannequin legs. Maybe one day his wife disappears.
Remember that joke about white redheaded people? Yeah, it seemed like a throwaway when he first said it.
All of a sudden, she's gone. Where'd she go?
Yeah, by the way, we haven't seen Kumail in a long time. Curtis Armstrong, he's been fucking glaringly missing in action.
The worst. If you want to, you just reminded me of something. If you want to stop doing this podcast, and like, or feel that you should, just go to the Harmontown subreddit, which, by the way, don't. Look for any thread that has something to do with Kumail, because I miss Kumail. Don't click on it. Like, it's like, oh, you miss Kumail because the podcast of shitty. Like, Jesus Christ, I miss him too. It's still a good podcast. That fucking subreddit. I went there for a really specific reason, and then I was like, I'll click around, and I saw one thread. I was like, I'm not. I would look at all the headlines. I really miss Kumail. And I'm like, okay, so you really think the podcast sucks? Least favorite Harmontown episodes? Yeah, let me give that a clickety click. New. And then I saw one. I was like, okay, before I go, there was one that just said like, is this subreddit for complaining or liking?
You said that?
No. It was the headline of the post.
Oh, I got you.
So I was like, "What is this? Are you playing a beat? Am I?"
No, that's right. I was just writing something down and I got distracted.
No, there was like a bass line. Did anyone else hear that?
Yeah.
Okay,
you're having a stroke.
That was the heads in my house are talking to me. I clicked on it. There is nothing. When I was a there's nothing. If someone hates a podcast and they want to they want to
green pants, black man. It doesn't exist on my wall.
DeMorge is next.
Yeah. Hey, DeMorge, we don't hang out enough.
You should come back to the crib tonight. He's having a real bob.
I have like 1 million board games.
I love board games.
Do you like gazpacho? It's a kind of soup that no matter how it tastes, you can't get alarmed. It's designed for poisoning. That's why Russian people poison each other so fucking much, because their food is just like, well, I don't know, it's just Russian food.
If it was radiation poisoning, I wouldn't be able to taste it.
These fuckers do nothing but poison each other, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I get why they can't.
But that's why. But then,
they don't have an Orange Julius.
But then there's a scene where there's a cop and her like younger like partner, and she's like, it's so hard to profile. All these people keep disappearing, but they're all over the country, all over the map. I'm not getting any like profile, but all of the beets and potatoes are disappearing from all the markets right now. Or does he make a gazpacho? That's borscht. I got borscht.
All right,
never mind. Fuck it. Different movie.
What's Vichy
Anyways,
too?
Vichy Swan?
Yeah.
The worst thing in the world, you on the Harmontown subreddit right now, is not you saying,
this seems like a good hornet's nest to tap.
It's not you saying, I don't like this, I don't like that. That's not what it is. As far as my personal nightmare is concerned. And it's also, it's not anybody going, because there's always a war going on between those people and the people going like, I think it's great and it's a free podcast. Why don't you shut up? And then like, why don't you just kiss some ass some more? The problem is the fucking war, the battlefield, because both sides, then it's just these conversations going on. The people who love the podcast going, Look, I understand Dan's a bad person. He has a lot of flaws about himself. But he never said he was a good person. I mean, hell, sometimes I find myself cringing or puking after a show. There's episodes that I've deleted from my hard drive because I never want to accidentally hear them again. All I'm saying is I want to win an argument with you. Don't do me any favors anymore! Stop sticking up for me in arguments between you and someone who hates me. The fucking change hitting the floor is burning my skin. When I was too young to speak, my first experience with this was my fucking brother and my mother would do nothing but incessantly argue about whether or not I was special. So it was like a fucking, just third person. You're a ghost in the room. I'm just like, can I keep sucking this? But Daniel doesn't have to do that. Daniel's special. No, how come he shits his pants all the time? Well, look, I wish he'd stop that, but he's fucking smarter than you. He's not!
I've been saying that for years, Dan.
Yes, he is. He's way smarter than you. No, he's not! Come on, his writing, he's just still sucking his thumb. You think he's a good writer? I can fucking do that. Do it right now. Write better than Daniel. 'Tis a far, far better thing. That's Tales of Two Cities, you cocksucker. Go in the basement. And I have to be up here with a kid that can't stop shitting his pants. That's how shitty you are. Oh, fucking shit, goddammit, oh god. Listen, just stop shitting your pants so much, and third act problems with this last draft. Go to your room and write a story about a guy that showers. When am I going to get a break as a person that got pregnant out of high school? So anyways...
should we do a bit of role playing or no? Because the last one was pretty great because nothing happened except we ruined another Shadowrun.
Isn't the last one we all admitted we're terrible Shadowrunners and we failed a mission, right?
Something like that. You were in a library.
I mean, yeah, well, you guys went to the library to find out about invisibility and whether or not invisibility works. Which I like that. But also, could you guys all have comm links on your heads. Couldn't you just access that like on your phone? You had to physically go to a library?
Having been to the subreddit, I think maybe we could also move forward into a world where, and this has been my goal for a while, like we could stop playing Shadowrun. Like we could
I think we've proven that we're shitty at Shadowrun, right?
Yeah. And I think we need to move into a world. I'll be transparent about this. I haven't brought this up yet, but I think as far as the role play, somebody tweeted and said, "Oh, Spencer should be promoted to vice comptroller." I was like, "Good," because we got to stop calling him game master because sometimes we don't play. But I think we should try to figure out how to actually move a segment maybe into the middle, and or we got to get things down to we got to have people that are always here.
Yeah, because it's been too diffuse because the cast becomes 6 people that some of them aren't, like Kumail, Curtis, Aaron.
Yeah, and we're bringing people
here.
up. The Golden Age was, because Kumail was coming here every week. It wasn't that he was a better person than me. He was just here all the time.
But wasn't it great? I mean, think about the days when Kumail was here.
He was so funny.
I know. He's hilarious. He's trying.
There was a thread in the Harmontown subreddit about how much more likable Justin Roiland is than me.
Ooh!
Do I have to bring him back on the show?
Yeah. Yes.
For you to see what I have to deal with?
So what did you... If we are we going to stop playing Shadowrun and move on to something else? And
Justin Roiland is a psychopath. The fact that you don't know that is because he's a good one. I'm hearts on my sleeve, baby.
Yeah. Dino's like Albert Schweitzer compared to him.
Anyways,
yeah, thank you, Dave.
But I think Grandma's virginity might be coming back. They keep teasing it.
Oh, it's back, baby. New episode.
Dan, what do you think? How do we go forward if we do role play?
Let's pick. Okay, so boy.
Hey guys,
Spencer. Well, you're aside being newly promoted vice comptroller.
Okay.
Or as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, co-comptroller status. Like,
man,
Vice makes it sound like you're subordinate to my comptrolling.
Well, I think I'll
am.
make that call.
Yeah,
he's subordinate.
I'm lower. I'm down here.
This table is
I'm
lowest.
off the stage.
I think Spencer needs to be more in this conversation than I do. But how do you two think that this should go forward, Mayor and Vice Comptroller?
I think we should just start playing like a different game, like boxing.
Just like straight up. Is that good podcast material?
I mean, we
It
have
would
a
certainly
video
get our
now.
It would boost our video.
Yeah, we're
like
trying to
our-
boost those sales. It seems like people getting punched like drives up the.
Yeah, I was thinking about it's a good old fashioned bear baiting.
Oh shit!
We'll just have an animal up on stage and just stab it.
You get a bear in a pen and a bunch of rats, and who you bet on the rats or the bear?
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out off stage.
Yeah, the one thing I thought of is there's this game called Fate. I think Adam has probably been on our asses to play that game forever. Adam Goldberg, everybody. But Fate is kind of cool, and it's more narrative and more fuck aroundy. I don't know.
Is it fantasy based or more reality based?
The one I'm thinking of is called Spirit of the Century, which is like pulp action, kind of, like 20s and fast talking detectives and mad scientistes and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like. Yeah, we never were we only played Shadowrun for like 32 seconds per week, and
You know what I'd really like to do?
is suck a big old dick.
Yeah.
The people that don't pay $5 a month to subscribe to the video don't know that Dan didn't say that.
It's just it's a personal issue, but
Eating those balls.
Yeah.
I'm Dan Harmon for balls.
Hell yeah.
but you do Sam Elliott doing a commercial for eating balls.
You know, all the glitters ain't gold. But there's one flavor I've come to know and love. Balls. It's what's for dinner.
How is this not a regular segment of the podcast? Sam Elliott.
I will do local spots by Sam Elliott anytime.
There's a place in northern Colorado where the river runs so deep you can stick your dick in it. I'm saying, so it's the petty part of me, but I want to get a Call of Cthulhu game going because just to stick it up Thomas Middleditch's ass. Because he belongs to a
Hello, I'm Sam
elite.
Elliott for sticking up Thomas Middleditch's asshole.
Because he's got that legit...
He's got an asshole so deep you can put your dick in it. What is Call of Cthulhu?
It's just based in the universe of...
Keep it in your
HP
pants,
Lovecraft.
Dave Klein. Keep it together.
It's just role playing based in the universe of H.P. Lovecraft. That's all I can say.
Spencer, are you familiar with
It's a game
it?
that involves serious commitment to the flavor of the universe.
This sounds like right up our alley.
Yeah.
That's why I disclaimed
tonal.
all of it.
It's a very tonal game. It's all about the horror and the paranoia of dealing with the ancient ones.
All right, let's the three of us talk about this off stage. We'll come at this in a way that we can come at this.
And know that if we end up playing Call of Cthulhu, it'll be because that conversation got very uncomfortable for Spencer. To the point where he was
said,
like, "Look,
fuck it, yeah.
you can do this if you want. It will be under protest. I'll still do it because I get paid so much." Spencer doesn't get paid.
Would we theoretically, Dan, be allowed to play that legally? Because Harmon Quest, are we allowed to?
Well,
do
that's
that?
what I'm actually trying to think of, because as far as the letter of the contract goes, it's medieval fantasy that we shouldn't like.
That's what we're told.
But I think we could, honestly, a phone call or not one and just breaking the rule. No one's going to sue us for anything.
What if we got really into fantasy British Premier League soccer?
I will tell you this for sure. The most important thing to solve is personnel.
Yeah.
We could engineer the game if we wanted, where there was a guest player, but they would be designed to be always pocketed. But it's like we got to make sure like people are reasonably always coming.
Yeah, because when we first started the very beginnings of D&D, it was you and I doing these little, bite-sized things where you and I could remember what you and I did.
It was kind of like a two-man little thing. That's what those were the golden.
Yeah, and I think
days.
we could maybe expand on that slowly, modularly.
You can't role play for 15 minutes and with 6 people when 4 of them are like, I have a purple mohawk and have never seen this show. What do these words mean? And I'm like, well, I know everything that's going on, and it was in a blackout last time we played. I think
it's sad for me because I really I never got to really learn much about my character. I really liked designing Eve Libertine, but I never got to do anything. And not because it was anybody else's fault. I never knew what the fuck we were doing.
I learned a lot about Norway.
I
did research.
I think. Hordegard was a rich tapestry. Also, I think the few times Curtis played Dr. Friend, he had no idea what was going on, so he made hard, fast decisions that were that were beautifully etched in marble. That was really good.
But he was also tonally. He was like, "Look, I don't want to talk about that. I feel agony." He approached it like an actor. Anyways, speaking of actors, let's make sure that Colin.
Colin, have you ever done role playing games before? Have you ever done a D&D?
Yeah, I played D&D before.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
like heavily or just a bit?
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
wasn't really taken seriously.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Spencer, how much have we broken your heart over the years about about not doing you any service at all?
It's not my heart so much as my spirit. It's like my heart's great. It's always doing fine.
That thread in that subreddit that I did click on because someone was like, do we just come here to complain? I was reading through it and going, God damn, fuck these people. Fuck everything. And then there was a guy that said something like, well, part of it is because they're just arguing with each other. Well, it's okay to hate on the podcast because Dan doesn't come anywhere. Spencer's the new Dan. He comes in every time someone says something bad. And there was 2 people arguing. And then it was Spencer doesn't come in just to police people saying bad things. Spencer comes in to the blah, blah, blah. And there was a guy I think Spencer this. And then there was a Spencer comment. I was like, why don't you just say you don't like me?
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
And it was exactly what I was thinking.
Spencer,
at the time. I was
Spencer,
yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah. That is what I'm talking about. Vice comp trolling, right there.
But it was exactly what I would have typed. I was yeah. What are you talking? It's but the thing is there some disconnect? It's not generational. Spencer's one of these fucking clones. Oh,
Dan, he's right next.
Oh, did I find out what makes you feel something? What is there something we're not getting about the internet that only the people that were here before the internet understand, which is that when in doubt, fall back on what would make you a dick if you were talking to the person face to face.
That's the thing.
How is that not just the unspoken rule? If somebody on Twitter is just I went to Amy Schumer's Twitter feed because I was she's got to have this so worse than anybody. And I was I like her. I gotta morbidly curious. I gotta just look. I'm gonna take a fucking crack open the Covenant arc and just and I went to her feed and the latest thing she had posted was a photo of her on stage. It was taken from a low angle because it was taken from somebody in the front row, I think. And so she captioned it, keeping my chins up for charity, self-deprecating. First response, just someone saying, fat. So she can't respond to that. She can't go, hey, fuck nut. You're shooting me through a hole that I shot through. That's why I'm famous. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Why are you trying so hard to hurt me? I've already fucking been vetted. I already know how to hurt myself. How can you do this? Why are you trying to hurt people? And if she said that, then not only would there be a bunch of people like lining up to go, let me take a swipe at this. Harmon, you're fat. I mean, Schumer, you're... I'm telling a story about Amy Schumer. Not only it's like those people aren't going to say that. It's the worst part of the fucking parfait is like people going like if she were as dumb as me and bothered to respond to that shit, there would be people not equating myself with Amy Schumer, by the way. I'm personalizing the story because
only subconsciously.
It's like this, the people that would go like Amy, I love you. You need to get away from the keyboard. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you. Why? I don't make more money the more Twitter followers I have. I'm not a senator. I didn't get elected. I'm not here because I represent anything. You can't fire me. Fuck you. I'm a horrible person like you. I'm filled with venom. If I bite you, you will die. You will die 1,000 permadeaths. You will explode in a green fucking explosion. You will become a monument to not fucking with me. Just as the same would never happen at a fucking party because you wouldn't be allowed in because you're 15. Why are you fucking talking to me like this? Why are you talking to strangers like this? You need to be spanked. And I have shit in me that needs to be out of me, and better you than them. Stop fucking regarding people who happen to have more of whatever number of whatever thing you've decided to measure success by as being so high above you that they are supposed to be accountable to different rules, and start realizing that you're so fucking important that you can be Amy Schumer, and you should be polite to her. As polite as you would be to her if you were her actual fucking friend, because you know you would do nothing but kiss her ass. You would listen to her fucking self-deprecating fat jokes and go like, sweetie, you're not fat. I think you're wonderful. I don't care. Let's go eat some cake. You would never go fat. I hate the world. I hate it. I hate it all. I hate it. But anyways, Colin, did you?
Cliffhanger! Thank you for coming to Harmontown, everybody. Holy smokes.
Colin Buckingham, everybody.
Colin Buckingham. Thank you, brother.
If you're writing something and it gets produced, tell the casting director and the studio and the network and see if is this height neutral? We need standardized language. We need to keep progressing.
Demorge Brown, everybody.
Demorge, don't cast him. Don't cast Demorge.
Spencer Crittenden. I'm Jeff Davis. Thank Zach McKeever, Dustin Marshall, Chris Barth, everybody back there, everybody here at Meltdown. Your mayor, Dan Schumer, everybody. Harmon! Drive fast, take chances.
Did you get any of that?
It's a good show.